Hello everybody, using my lovely new camera that I've bought, so hopefully the quality of the sound will be a lot better on future videos than it has been. The camera that I had wasn't very good. You could probably hear a lot of background interference on it, which isn't helpful, especially when you're talking about tinnitus videos, because hearing's a main part of it. So I have got this nice new camera, so I hope the quality is a lot better. Today I was going to do a video about meditations and the meditations that I use that have helped me, but somebody came up to me today at work and who hasn't got tinnitus, but they've watched my videos. They know that I've been going for therapy, etc., craniotherapy, hypnotherapy, etc., etc., and some of the guys at work have been asking me about what it's like to have tinnitus, and it's hard to explain. But one of the things that came up was I was saying to a couple of the guys that I feel that I am in this state of habituation. Now, if you're a long-term sufferer of tinnitus, you'll probably more than likely already know what habituation means, what it entails, and what it actually is. But if you're a new sufferer of tinnitus, if you've suddenly been struck with tinnitus and you hear this habituation word used, or you've seen other people talk about it and wonder what it is, I'm going to try and explain how I think it works and why I feel that I'm nearing habituation. Now, when I was talking to the guys at work, I said to them, I have days now, like I've said in my videos, where I have a whole day without noticing the tinnitus. I'm not noticing it. It's like it isn't there. And I said, this is just wonderful to have a day without noticing it. When I come home and I'll go to bed and room is dead quiet, I will hear the tinnitus again. Or if I get angry, as I've said, it starts to rise and I will hear it again. But when I said that I have whole days of where I'm not noticing it, it's like it isn't there, one of the guys at work said, so you've cured yourself, you've cured yourself. And there's a difference. I was trying to explain to him, there's a difference between habituation and being completely cured of tinnitus. Now, I know there are people that claim to have been completely cured. I know that, and I know he won't mind me saying this because he speaks about himself. Julian considers himself to be cured of tinnitus. He says in his videos he doesn't have it at all anymore, only maybe when he has a cold or something like that, and then he will hear it slightly again. But apart from that, he doesn't have it at all. He lives a tinnitus-free life. So he can say that he has cured himself of it. He says it himself. And I've met him, and that's what he tells me. He tells me it's not a permanent affliction and that it can be cured. That's different to habituation. Habituation, for those that have just been struck with tinnitus, habituation is, I think, where you want to start to try to aim for rather than completely focus on trying to cure yourself. I feel I've reached or am reaching a point of habituation because I've had the right advice very quickly from the right people, i.e. Julian, Andrew Parr, various others. For other people who I've seen on YouTube who suffer with tinnitus, it's taken them literally years to get to habituation. Now, what is habituation? Habituation, I feel, and from what speaking to Julian and seeing other YouTube videos of other people that say they have reached habituation. Habituation, in simple terms, is your brain has got so used to the noise in your head being there, because it's there constantly. For most of us, isn't it? It's there constantly, all the time. At some point, your mind has got so used to the noise being there that it's not feeling that it's a threat anymore. The brain is, oh yeah, it's the tinnitus. I don't need to take much notice of that anymore. it becomes less frightening, less intrusive. I know when I was first struck with tinnitus, my stress levels were shot right up, because it's a scary thing. When you first get it, it's frightening. You think, what the hell is this thing? And you go to the doctors, and the doctors tell you there's no cure. And like I've said before, you think, good God, how am I supposed to live with this? And that makes the tinnitus worse. But as time's gone by, and because I've had the right advice from people like Julian, thank God, he said to me, don't worry, it's not a permanent condition. And he explained to me about calming down, which I have spoken about, and I know Gray has spoken about it in his last video about stress. It's absolutely spot on. Stress is a major factor of tinnitus, without question. I've spoken about it, Gray's spoken about it, Julian has spoken about it, without question. Stress is a huge factor. So although it's not easy when you first get tinnitus, please try and not be so frightened, and try to calm down, because that will help you. I feel I've reached a point of where I'm nearing really a lovely phase of habituation, because as I say, I can go through a whole day without noticing the noise at all. That doesn't mean I've cured myself, because I haven't. And this is what I was trying to explain to the guys at work, because they're saying, well, if you're not hearing aid, you must have cured yourself. And I said, well, no, it's not the same thing. It's still there. I'm aware that it's there, but because I'm not finding it threatening or so frightening anymore, my mind it's not letting it encroach or intrude on my life. It's like something way in the background. You know, it's difficult. It is difficult to explain, but habituation is not the same as being cured. Now, this is why I say, I think if you've just been struck with tinnitus, and one of the reasons I'm making this video is because I have had a subscriber, I won't say his name, but I've had a subscriber who has contacted me outside of YouTube, and he's in a very, very dark place. He is suffering badly. He's sleeping 12 hours a day. He's drinking to try and get himself to sleep. When he is awake, he's just plugging himself into white noise all day. His relationship's broken down. He's not going to work. He's in a bad, bad place. Once you start going down and deeper and you spiral downwards, it's going to be much harder to bring yourself out of that. So I have been trying to help this guy with saying, please watch Julian Hill's videos. Listen to Gray. He's very upbeat. He's very positive. He's had it for 5 years. He's living with it. I've only had it for about, it must be 8 months now. And I can have a normal everyday life again. But I still have tinnitus. I still have the condition. But I am reaching this lovely phase of habituation. And I've tried to convey to him, the more you can calm down, please don't be so frightened. You will eventually, without even noticing it or forcing it, your brain, you will get used to the noise at some point. As bizarre and, you know, as crazy as that sounds, because when I was told that, I thought, I'm never going to get used to this noise in my head. I'm never going to get used to it. But I have got used to having this noise in my brain. The only difference is I've learned how to control it, and it doesn't frighten me as much anymore. It's still damn annoying to have it there, especially in the evening. If you go into a quiet room, then you start to notice it again, or like I say, you get angry, there it is. So it hasn't gone away, it's lurking. It's lurking in the background. But on a normal day, I go out and I forget about it. And this is what I think habituation, this is what I think habituation is. It's still having the tinnitus, but your mind accepts that it's there and it's not frightening you. Because it's not frightening you, it's not stressing you out, And because you're not getting stressed, the tinnitus remains at a low level. So to this subscriber, like I say, I'm not going to mention his name. Please listen to Julian's videos and take it from people who have tinnitus, like myself, grey. You can live with this condition. I'm living with it, and habituation is a lovely place to get to. It is a lovely place to get to. I've managed it, like I say, because I had the right advice at the right time, very quickly. Other people who I've seen on YouTube, who've got their own videos and channels, etc., it's taken them years. Thank goodness I found the right help. But your brain, at some point, without you even knowing, it will get used to the noise. So if you have just suddenly been struck with tinnitus, as frightening as it is, I know how awful it seems, because that's how I felt. I felt there was no hope. I'm never going to be able to live with this noise in my head. All I keep hearing is negative stuff. There's no cure, etc., etc. I'm now living a normal day-to-day life with tinnitus. And although I say I have reached this point of habituation, and it is lovely, sometimes as tinnitus does come back, you know, and it gets me, but I know it will go down again. So when I do have a spike, and I had one a couple of weeks ago, and I think I spoke about it in one of my videos, I had a tinnitus spike and it came right up to a level 6 or 7 again. Because I know it will go down, it didn't frighten me that much, so I just calmed down. I let the tinnitus ride out. I let it ride out in my mind, and it came back down again. And even as I'm speaking to the camera, the tinnitus is there. I can hear it way in the background, but it's not stressing me out. It's not a threat to me, and it's way in the background. So this is why I say, you know, if you've just been struck with tinnitus, the first thing I think you should aim for, rather than think, I need to be cured, I need to be cured. That's how I felt. I want a cure, because there is no absolute cure. As far as we know, there is no absolute cure. But habituation is a real thing. It does happen. You can get there. And this is what I've been trying to tell my subscriber. You know, if you're going to continue on the downward spiral, it's going to be more difficult to bring yourself back up out of that. I know how hard it is. You know, it can cause real problems in your life, and for a little while it did with mine. But I would aim, like I say, if you've been struck with tinnitus suddenly and you're a new sufferer, aim for habituation. At some point your brain will get used to the noise to some degree, and the more your brain realises it's not a threat, it doesn't need to worry about this noise. In a way, I feel that my mind is saying to me, I don't really need to hear this noise anymore. I'll put it way in the background. As to oppose when I first got it, it was God, like a train running through my head, someone playing the piano in my brain all day, you know. So believe me, if you're a new sufferer, I do know how you feel. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. Get the right advice. Oh, and another thing I want to say in this video was thank you very much to Rob Williamson, who is my craniotherapist, for leaving his comments on my craniotherapy video, and his comments and his links to helpful websites. So thank you very much for that, Rob, and hopefully I will be seeing you again soon. So that's what I wanted to say today, because when, like I say, it was brought up at work that if you're not hearing your tinnitus, you must be cured. That's not the case. Habituation is not the same as being cured. You can eventually become cured. I believe you can, because there are people that have done it. Julian, for example, lives a tinnitus-free life now. it can happen. There are a couple of other people that say they have been cured of it completely. So it can happen. And I think habituation is what you need to aim for to get to anywhere where you're heading towards a complete cure. And that's how I feel where I'm heading now. I feel I'm getting to a nice state of habituation with a view to hopefully ridding myself completely of the tinnitus. I think that's all I'm going to say for this video. To my subscriber who asked about the meditation videos, I will do one. I will do one, as I said I would do, and it will probably be within the next couple of weeks. So hopefully, you know, I will do one. If it helps, fantastic. But you need to find your own methods that work for you, because we're all different. Like Ray said, we're all different. We all respond differently to different things. You need to find what works for you. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful to anyone who's a new sufferer of tinnitus. Try not to be so frightened of it. I know when you first get it, how terrifying it can be, overwhelming. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and people like myself, Gray, etc., we are proof of that. So anyway, best wishes to everyone, and I will see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.